Hello, this is Dr. Newton. Just want to say welcome to Biomedical Core. I'll be talking to you today on objectives 7 through 10 of Unit 1. Okay, here we go. Another naked lady. You're going to see a few of these. Women and men, get used to it. This lady is standing in what we call human anatomical position. It's a reference point so that if a surgeon is describing where something is in what we're going to learn as directional terms, he can reference, it's always in human anatomical position. Medically, we always use that. So you can see our friendly naked lady here is standing with her feet down, facing forward, palms out, arms extended. This is anatomical position. Now let me give you an example of why this is important. The bone on the forearm that comes up from the thumb is called the radius. Okay, the one by the little finger is called the ulna. Now if you look at how this lady's standing, we could say that the radius is lateral to what we call the ulna. Or we'd say the ulna is medial, it's towards the midline. Now that's going to flip if she turns her palms over, isn't it? And so whenever we're going to learn some directional terms today, whenever you're using those, we are referencing someone in anatomical position. And, you know, go stand in front of a mirror. You can practice this. This is anatomical position. We want to familiarize you in this unit with parts and regions of the body. And then you will, of course, as we get into each body system, be learning about some of these areas in much more detail. You have a list in your objectives on Objective 8 that gives you a list of the areas that we want you to be able to identify. And as you identify these, you would want to be able to identify them on a graphic, such as our lovely naked woman here, or you would want to be able to identify them. Think about where they are so you can define one in terms of the other in directional terms. Now don't freak out on me. It's okay. We're going to talk about directional terms and we'll give you some examples there. Right now we're just going to be looking at this naked lady and her parts. Okay, on picture A, this is the anterior view. She's facing forward. You can see she's in anatomical position. Let's look up in the head region first, or the cephalic. Cephalic is a region pertaining to the head. We have the skull there, the cranial area, and the face, or the facial area. Part of the face also that you need to know that's not on this diagram is you would want to know the forehead is the frontal area, temple, temporal, so far not too bad, right? Eye is the orbital or ocular. You've probably heard of those terms. Ear is the otic region. And we often use that root OT with ear, like an otoscope, an instrument to look at the ear. So that's the otic region. Now this one's a little weird. Cheek is the buccal region. And think of some little thing to make you associate cheek with buccal. I don't have one off the top of my head, but think about that. Nose is the nasal area. Mouth, oral, and chin, mental. That's kind of weird, I know. You kind of go to your brain for mental, right? But chin is the mental region. So know those different areas on the face. Now if you look at the neck, this is the cervical region. Okay, we're going to move down now to the trunk. Chest area here in the thoracic region, and you can see we're dividing the trunk into the thoracic, the abdomen, and then the pelvic region. In the chest, we have our breastbone, also called the sternal bone, breast, which are the mammary, shoulder blade. If you look at that posterior side, you can see the shoulder blade or the scapular area. And then the back area, again I'm going over the posterior view now, is called the dorsal area. And we're going to look at that. I remember dorsal is the back because think of a shark. The shark, maybe you don't like sharks, aren't familiar with them. I scuba dive. I think they're awesome. Okay, unless they eat me, of course. But they have a fin on their, a dorsal fin they call it. And obviously this is on their back. So dorsal is your back. Shoulder here on the posterior version, you can see that acromial area of the shoulder there. Okay, let's move down to the abdominal area. We've got the navel or the umbilical from your umbilical cord. Hip is the coxal area. Loin, lumbar, and between the hips is the sacral area. Okay, let's move down to the pelvis region. We have our groin. Inguinal is how you pronounce that. So the inguinal region is the groin region. Pubis or pubic, buttock on the posterior side, or gluteal. You've probably heard those terms, those of you that work out. Try and firm up that area. Okay, perineal is the pelvic area. Let's finish up with the upper extremity. First of all, we've got our armpit is the axillary area. Sometimes when a woman has breast cancer, they move lymph nodes where the cancer may have progressed to, and they'll call these the axillary lymph nodes when they go out clear out into the armpit. So that's the axillary region. In the arm, you can see the upper arm there is the brachial region. We have a big brachial artery that runs down there. We get down to the forearm, the antebrachial area, and then we've got the wrist, carpal, palm is the palmar. Back, looking at your objective 8, back of the hand is the dorsum, and then our fingers, digital or phalangeal. I'm going to skip down here to your feet real quick because I want you to look at this. On the feet, your toes are also the same thing. Digital, we often call them the digits, or phalangeal or phalanges. So the fingers and the toes have synonymous terms, either digits or phalanges. The other part I want to show you in the foot is if you look at the ankle bones, they're the tarsal bones. A student taught me this. You can remember carpal in the wrist and tarsal in the ankle because we drive a car, okay, using your wrist, and we walk on tar. So drive a car, walk on tar, carpals and tarsals. Okay, lower extremity, we have the thigh, we have femoral. Physicians sometimes, we'd have a patient come into the emergency room that was a trauma victim, very hard to try and get any blood out of them, and they would just stick what they call their femoral artery and draw blood right there from that femoral area in the clear up high almost to the inguinal area is where they draw from that femoral artery. Curl for the leg, the calf, the back, sural. Okay, we can't leave out the knee. On the anterior surface is the patella. That's your kneecap, the patella, or when we put AR on there, it means pertaining to, so pertaining to the patella. The posterior surface of the knee is the popliteal area. Foot, you can see that the top of the foot is the dorsum. The heel is the calcaneal. We talked about the toes. The great toe is the hallux. And then we have the sole of the foot, which is the plantar area. Dr. Hutchins, I was complaining to him just walking down here that I had some problems going on with my heel. And he said, is it plantar fasciitis? And I said, probably. So what we're talking about there is plantar on the bottom side of your foot and then some inflammation going on down there. It's tough to get old. That's my new motto. Tough to get old. Okay, let's get you back to the slides here. So make sure that you go through that big list of body parts on Objective 8. I have it as page 12 of your study notes. Make sure that you can identify them on the naked woman and that you could also, we've given you some extras here so that you know what all of those are as well.